Newfoundland Hobbyist is sponsored by paulsfinest.com, Mid-Island Motorsports located in Springdale, wildmedkits.ca, and Robinson's General Store located in Middle Arm. I've been playing music, and music was a big part of my life ever since I was a kid. When I was 12 years old, I started playing regularly in my local church, playing the drums. I've played guitar in church off and on, and I played, for a lot of years, played bass in church, various churches throughout the province, playing drums and bass. Piano, I've always just picked at a little bit. I've never really learned to play the piano. I believe my parents bought me a keyboard at one point when I was younger, and I played with it for a little bit. I always had an interest. I always picked at the baby grand at the local church. I still do now. A lot of times when I go into our church down there, I'll pluck a few keys on the piano because I just love it. I love it. Something draws me to it. But pianos are big, pianos are expensive, they're hard to get, and I was really happy with my little keyboard until I went and tried the few things I learned on the church's baby grand and felt those weighted keys, and it's just something special. So let's bring all that around. Just a couple weeks ago, I started hunting for an upright piano. I got the urge, I got the itch. It happens to me a lot with different types of things. And I decided I wanted an upright piano, both for me to learn on and enjoy, both for my household, just to build more memories, and I want that for my girls, because I want them to be able to learn the piano. I already have the guitar and the bass and the drums and the mics and the recording gear and all of those opportunities for them. But a piano is I think one of the best instruments a child can learn. It's a beautiful way to learn music in general. And I've found that once you learn one instrument, all of the other instruments become fairly easy to learn. You still have to learn the hand skills and the actual tactics, but the theory behind it is all the same. So that's the reason why I really wanted a piano for our house, and I scored this beauty just earlier this week. So I struggled, managed to get this in the truck, me and a couple other fellows at the site where I bought it. I got it for a cheap price, and I got it in the truck. I didn't inspect it, nothing like that, because I got it for a cheap enough price, and the guy gave me a deal. I didn't want to go picking at it. But I brought home this Kimball artist console. Kimball would be the brand name. They were probably the most popular piano manufacturer in the world, at least for a long time. They made more pianos, especially during the war era, than any other maker. They weren't considered a high-end maker like Steinway and Baldwin and Bosendorfer and those different other names that are just known for their outstanding quality. But Kimball would have been like a household name. It would have been the household standard. And this is just a beautiful rendition of it, in my opinion. The artist console here, that would refer to the style of piano. So it means it's an upright piano. It refers to the way the action is set up inside. And the height here, you notice it's not a player's piano with a real tall back. It's not a spinet, which would be a much lower piano. It's an artist console, so that refers to the way it's strung, the action, and the size of it, just the way it's laid out here. Now, although we have a complete piano, for its age, which I believe is roughly, I'm thinking it was built mid-70s, that's as far as I can tell. for its age, it's in exceptionally good condition, and it's all here. I'm guessing this piano lamp probably came with it back in the day, I don't know. This bench here, notice the matching leg engravings. It is the matching bench that was bought with the piano. So that gives me an idea that this was well taken care of. Nothing's beat up, everything is there, prim and proper. One thing I can tell is this piano hasn't been serviced or professionally done in a long time. And there are a few issues. Let me just run over what we have here. In terms of the internal components, all the stuff in here, there's not much I can do with it, and there's not much the common man can do with it. It's something you need an experience, a professional. Outside of needing those mechanical and pliability issues addressed, the biggest issue is the finish on the piano. Of course, being 30, 40, 50 years old, it's been worn, it's been touched up in different places, I'll show you here, and poorly touched up. A lot of the components are dry and creaky and just a little rough. Some things are a little bit sloppy here. This piece needs to be addressed. We've got some bad piping there. The piano has some beautiful brass components, which you guys know I love brass, and I love polished brass, but they are far from polished at this point. Heavy tarnish. And just in general, the color. This was very traditional color at the time, sort of that chestnut brown, and I really don't like it. Let me tell you, before you guys start freaking out about this being an all-original piano and stuff, I thought really hard when I got it home and I inspected it and saw the condition, how original it was. I said, there's no way that I can strip this piano. The more I looked at it and thought about how I don't like the color and how it's roughed up and stuff, I made the decision that it is my intention to strip it and recolor it. We'll get to the color later on. But that is my intention, is to completely refinish this piano. And I am so excited. Let's take a look inside here. Let me give you an idea first. Again, I'm not a piano player, but let me give you an idea of what it sounds like right now. So I've already compared the pitch of the piano to standard tuning, and it is, the whole piano is down in tune. So the professional, when he comes, will bring the piano up to tune. It's fairly in tune with itself. Anyone with a musical ear will hear definitely that it's out, but everything works, everything's here, it's in half decent tuning. Like, someone could buy this cheap piano, stick it in their house and have years of enjoyment out of it, but oh, it's addicting, it's addicting. I'm so excited to get this project started. Let me show you guys here under this cover. Just look at the original badging here. Just look at this. And I will not be changing the inside color here, and I will not be staining the inside of this cover. Just look at that. Now, from my reading, my study, so here are your strings. Here are your hammers. So you see that? You press a key. The hammers go forward, little felt ends, and they strike the strings. They make the strings ring. The combined tensile force, when all these strings are in tune, entire tensile force on the back plate here is roughly 20 tons, 40,000 pounds of draw pressure. So that's why you have a massive, massive back plate here, and it just fascinates me. We'll start with some of the most obvious and easy to remove. probably help to have a second person here for this. Before any real restoration or refinish work can be done on this piano, I need to remove as many pieces as I can to make my work easier. Now luckily, these upright style pianos do have a lot of removable panels. The Newfoundland Hobbyist is sponsored by EdgeProInc.com, ABS Busing in Middle Arm, By the Sea Inn and Cafe located in Kings Point, and Noble's Timber Mart with locations in Springdale and Bay Verte. I don't know in what manner these badges here will come off, if at all. Knobs are no problem. Thinking these are probably tacked in there. Looks like little nails made onto. Yep, just as I suspected. Just two little tacks. That's nice. You think that's actual brass? Or brass plated iron? I guess we'll see. I really don't want to mess up this little plate. But it looks like it's on with just some little tacks as well. Come on. Oh, those are so darny. Some people might just keep this on and kind of stain or try to clean around it, but you never get real good results like that, I've found. It always looks like you didn't remove the badge. Looks like you didn't take the time. Look at the difference, the darker, sort of darker finish there. and now time to blow away 50 years of dust and debris. The piano is pretty much entirely stripped. I've got all the easily removable faces taken off. I may consider removing these legs, but probably not. I'll probably manage to strip them on there. Covered up the keys just because I don't want anything on there, and remove the few end ones there so that there's really no chance of getting on there when I strip right down around this face here, because I want everything to be nice and clean, and I don't want you to be noticing any patches where I didn't successfully strip the piano. Other than that, I was pretty well ready. You can see we blew a lot of dust out there. There's a lot of dust in the bottom of the cabinet here. I'll address that before I start finishing the piano, because we're going to be making a little bit of dust of our own, sanding and whatnot. Got to remove these pedals, or I'm hoping to polish that brass. I chose the worst condition piece first. That is that top cover, which I believe has been re-stained and re-varnished since the original piano was done, and there wasn't a good job done with it either. Very uneven finish compared to the rest of the piano in terms of the clear coat. Very worn, but it's also the top of the piano often becomes a shelf, a storage place like that. So just covering up that logo, that beautiful, beautiful insignia on there. But here we have the top. Not an overly big piece. I want to see how well this strips down. I chose a medium strength biodegradable stripper for this project. I thought that would be the safest option given the significance of the piece that I'm working on here. I didn't want to risk damage to the surface, especially since a lot of the surfaces are veneered. I first considered just sanding the piece to refinish the wood, but that would not have given me the results. And when working with veneered surfaces, sanding always gives a risk of breaking through the surface and destroying the piece. Waiting the proper length of time for that stuff to act is very, very difficult for me. But this looks like it really worked. Let's have a look here. Oh, yeah. Look at that sludge. All that nasty clear coat coming off that beautiful hardwood. Wow. That would be a lot of sanding, a lot of dust right there. I do have to be careful because this is a veneer top. color. And I haven't even done any sanding yet. That's just stripper and scraping. Wow, that's beautiful. A little bit of Varsol I'm using here, just to cut the glues left over that are kind of sticking from the stripper. The gunk, it really helps cut it off, you know? And it leaves the surface, it takes like the slimy stickiness off the surface, which does tend to remain. It's really hard to get off without using something like a Varsol, I found in my experience so far. The Varsol now, once it dries out, after wiping it down like this, will leave a nice smooth finish. This should give you an idea now, the color that we have right here compared to the original pieces on the piano here. And this is wet, so this is going to be darker. It's also still carrying a little bit of that stain and stuff. Once that dries up and we sand it out, it will lighten up quite a bit as well. And then of course then we'll oil it. I really hope you are enjoying the progress being made so far on this little Kimball upright piano of mine. I want to give a huge thank you to my sponsors. If at all possible, please go ahead and support them. They help make this show possible. I want to give a big thank you to you guys, the viewers. You are the reason we make this show in the first place, so thank you so much. If you're looking for any deeper content on this project or any more of my content, please go over to youtube.com and search my name, Kyle Noseworthy. And as always, make sure you tune in next week to the Newfoundland Hobbyist.